Hey guys, I'm Jen. Welcome to the Sunshine Farm. We are a plant-based, modern homestead in upstate New York where we love homesteading, sustainability, and being as self-sufficient as possible, while also both working full-time jobs, managing graduate school classes, and having a household full of pets. Today I want to talk to you about 15 creative ways you can make some money on your homestead. There are many great videos and resources already available that talk about different ways you can make money on your homestead. But many of these videos do include selling animals, selling eggs, selling meat or dairy, and because we are a plant-based homestead, we wanted to share some creative ways that don't involve the use of animal products. I want to start by saying many of these things we aren't currently doing, or we may be doing but they're not producing revenue yet. But I do have some great examples of people who are making an income off of these things, and it's providing them with some extra money on their homestead. There are 4 different categories of ways you can make money on your homestead that I'm going to talk about today. The first one is renting a part of your property out to produce some income each month. Here's what I mean by this. One of the things that we do is we actually rent out our guest room on Airbnb on the weekends when we're home. This has been really fun for us. We've met some really amazing people, and if you're watching and you stayed with us, we're so glad you found us here on YouTube. We've met people from all over the country, from Arizona to Utah. We've had people traveling all the way from Ireland for a wedding that stayed here. It's been really fun to get to know other people who love homesteading life and farming life and are excited to learn more about us, our lifestyle, and enjoy our farm for just a weekend. Depending on your area, you might be able to make more or less in this category. And for us, we did remodel our guest room as well as other parts of our home, as you can see our kitchen, to be able to make a little bit more money in this area. Our room rents out for about $70 a night. So we earn close to $150 each weekend that it's rented out. But keep in mind, there are not that many weekends that it is rented out because either we're out of town, we're too busy to be hosting, or the season is slow. Like, we haven't gotten anybody renting out our guest room in the middle of winter so far. You can also rent out a cabin you have on the property. Maybe you can set up a trailer hookup and be able to rent that out. Or if you have a loft in your barn, you could turn it into an apartment. You could even build a small cabin. There are so many things you could do to rent out space for somebody who's staying in the area and really wants to stay at a farm. I've seen some great ideas that I'm hoping we can implement one day. One day we might even renovate an Airstream and set up a trailer hookup. So that's the first thing you can do. The second thing you can do that relates to renting your property out would be boarding horses. Now, this requires a little bit of knowledge about horses and how they need to live. But if you have pastures that are open and you have a run-in shed or the ability to bring in a run-in shed, it can be a great way to produce a little bit of extra monthly income, especially if you have a lot of pasture grass that grows throughout the year. For us, we don't have pasture for about half of the year, so we would have to consider whether someone would bring in their own hay or we would have to charge a little bit more to pay for the cost of hay for that horse. In addition, horses do need companions, so you're probably looking at boarding at least 2 horses if this is an option for you. But it's not just a good way to make a little bit of extra money, it's also so fun to have horses around. They're beautiful, you can see them running through the snow, makes for amazing photography moments, and they're also just a pleasure to have around and offer some free lawn mowing services. The next category is all about things that you can produce straight from your garden. The first thing you could do is sell seedlings. Now, a lot of people want to have their own backyard gardens, but they maybe don't have the greatest setup for starting seeds. We are actually planning on creating somewhat of an indoor greenhouse in our office, which already gets a lot of sun, but we're going to have shelving units and grow lights and heating mats to be able to grow our own seedlings and possibly even some that we could sell to market. This can be a great way to make a little bit of extra money on your homestead. The second thing from the garden that you can do is you can actually have a cash crop. Now what this means is you have a specific crop that you're growing that you're planning on selling and not using for yourself or your family. For us, our garden right now is completely focused on feeding us, Chris and I, and our needs. Once we know what we need, maybe we can expand our garden and start growing a couple cash crops. Whether it's amazing heirloom tomatoes, colorful carrots, beets, or even garlic. There are some great options where you can really specialize on maybe 1 or 2 crops and sell those at the farmer's market, local festivals, and things of that nature. The third thing related to gardening is actually selling canned goods. So here at the Sunshine Farm, one of Chris's favorite things is pepper jelly. Now, I made some pepper jelly with homegrown serrano peppers and it was really good. I didn't make enough to sell any, but maybe in the future I could try that as well. I also love hot sauce. We put hot sauce on pretty much everything we eat, so maybe we could make some extra next year and try selling some of those. So if you're really good at hot sauce and you want to grow a ton of peppers and you would be able to sell hot sauce, this can be a great option for you. Another thing I loved canning this year was salsa. So much flavor, it's good on pretty much everything, and it cans really well. You can also make jams. These jams I've actually made from wild grapes growing in our property. So maybe you could do that. You could try that out. Do you have grapes on your property? Do you have strawberry patches or blueberries or blackberries? If you can make enough, that's definitely something you could sell to your community, at local farmers markets, and even maybe a small organic market. The next category I wanted to talk to you about is getting crafty. I see a lot of people making some extra income in this area, and while I haven't done it quite yet, I'm always brainstorming if there's something I can do. One thing I see a lot of is making natural skincare products like salves, lotions, lip balms, soaps. There's some great ways you can do that, with or without animal products, and adding in natural herbs from the garden and essential oils and make it all natural, organic, which people love. Now these also are generally small, and so shipping costs can be low, so you can do this online as well through an Etsy store or even through your website. Another thing I really want to try is making our own candles. We always have candles going in the house, especially if we have muddy dogs that came in and the house smells a little too much like dog for my liking, but they run out really quick, especially when they use them a lot, and they can be really expensive. So making them yourself is a really great way to save money and then even make some money if you're able to sell them. For our wedding, I actually made soy candles as the wedding favor, using essential oils to bring in some lovely scents. And they were actually pretty easy to make. They smell amazing, and I'm still using them today. Maybe you really love to knit or sew. That can be another great option if you want to be crafty and find a way to make a little bit of money off of it. My sister actually made this for me a couple years ago, this scarf, and it's great. I love having a handmade scarf to wear in the wintertime. I've never experimented with this, but I do know a lot of people have some great success in this area. One of my friends that I connected with on Instagram, you can find her over at Jeannie Greenhens. She not only makes natural salves and balms, but she also does hand knit slippers that are really amazing, beautiful, and pretty unique. The next thing I do have a little bit of experience with, but I haven't made any money off of it. I think part of that is lack of experience, and the other part, lack of marketing. But I also don't have a ton of time to invest in this. So what I'm going to talk about next is artwork, photography, and painting. If you have a big following on Instagram, on Facebook, or maybe you have an amazing following on YouTube, you might be able to sell some of your own photography on your website or offer your photography services to somebody else. So I love taking pictures of our farm animals. I do it all the time. And one time I even featured my photographs at a local coffee shop. Now I didn't make any money off of this. No one bought the photographs, but it was really fun to be able to share my work and photos of my animals with the patrons at the coffee shop. Where I have seen this be more successful is when people offer their services to other people's pets, animals, landscapes, or whatnot. So maybe you are a horse photographer and you can take photos of people's horses and they're paying you directly for the service of photographing their horses. Now you can also get into painting or drawing. I did a little bit of dabbling with this with watercolor of our animals, but I'm not experienced or probably not talented enough to be able to make a living off of it. But if you're talented and you have time and you really want to be painting in your free time, this can be a great way to make money at home. And you can paint scenes of your homestead, or you can paint other people's animals or their farms. I know somebody on Instagram who has made a pretty big following just off of painting watercolor horses and landscapes. This next option really only works if you have a loyal following. This doesn't mean you have to have a huge following, but it does mean there have to be people who are actively engaged with you and what you're doing on the homestead and want to support your work. So this option is all about selling merch. So this can be creating a logo and selling t-shirts or mugs or things like that people want to buy. You can sell them on your website. You can start designing some shirts that may be homestead or farming related, but might not have your logo in particular if you want to reach a broader audience and maybe don't have that loyal following quite yet. As you can see right here, this is the first thing we've ever done on our farm that's branding related. A t-shirt that I actually bought for myself for Christmas because I just wanted to see how the logo looked printed on something. I actually also ordered Chris a couple of beer glasses that had our logo as well. So the last crafty thing I want to suggest that you can do to make a little bit of extra money on your homestead is woodworking. And the animals are everywhere all the time. My husband Chris, he really likes to make projects with wood, and he's done some really awesome things, and I've even had people ask where we bought them from. I'll tell them he actually made this on his own. We came up with a plan. Depending on how large your projects are, this may require a high cost for shipping, so it's important to consider if there's a high enough need locally that you don't have to ship the item. There are 3 more things that I want to talk about, and these all fall under the category of social media. It's important to consider with anything social media, it takes a lot of time and it's not going to produce income overnight. Rarely do people go viral immediately. And it's important to have other motivations going into this, or else you're going to be frustrated and burn out. You really want to have good motivations with any of these things. If you're just doing it to make money, you're going to be just as frustrated as working a 9-to-5 job. So it's important to find something that you like doing and can create some income from it at the same time. First thing you can do to make an income is having a blog. In order to make an income off of this, you have to be posting really consistently. You have to be focused enough that you're getting the right kind of audience and filling a gap where there isn't already a ton of resources in that area. And you also have to enjoy writing. On top of that, it takes a long time and utilizing a lot of different resources in order to monetize a blog. You have to have a lot of traffic, be skilled in creating attention-grabbing photographs or images, and also be utilizing Pinterest. But once you gain a following and you have posts that are doing really well, it can create a pretty good income for your family. I haven't experienced this yet. At this point, my blog is pretty much making like less than $1 a week, which puts me at under $50 in a year. So I'll get back to you when it's producing a little bit more for our homestead. But I have heard some really awesome success stories of blogs producing really meaningful income. The second area is actually what I'm doing right now. That's YouTube. Now YouTube again takes a lot of patience, a lot of consistency, and you have to really love it. You also have to be focused in this area, just like with a blog where there aren't 100 other pages just like yours. You want to find your unique style and your unique niche. For us, we're trying to provide a perspective of what it's like to be a millennial homesteaders with a plant-based homestead. I don't know if this is going to be successful or not. I don't know if it will ever produce income, but I enjoy it. So at the end of the day, I don't need it to produce an income. So the way blogs and YouTube produce income is generally due 3 different avenues. The first is being able to monetize those things through ads. But generally ads don't pay very well unless you're getting a high level of viewership. The second option is affiliate links. So maybe you are talking about a product you love that you got from Amazon and you can link it below and people will click it, they'll buy it, and then through their purchase, they're actually supporting you a little bit, even though they're not paying any more for that product. The third category is paid sponsorships. So maybe you love a specific brand or product and you're already talking about it and enjoying it. It's possible that if your viewership is high enough that you can either approach the brand and explore sponsorship opportunities, or maybe they'll approach you and want to pay you for what you're already doing and what you already love using. That can be really exciting for people who are on YouTube or on blogs, because they feel like it really supports their mission and what they're doing in that realm. The third option I haven't jumped into at all. and I don't know a lot about how much it could produce in terms of income. But I know it's really big right now, and it can produce some revenue just like blogging or having a YouTube channel, and that is podcasting. So podcasting is a great option for people who really want to focus just on audio content and aren't interested in visual content, or maybe they're doing a lot of driving and obviously can't be paying attention to a video, but they can listen while they drive. Or maybe they have a mundane task at work that doesn't require their full attention, but it does require their visual attention. So podcasts are a really great option because there is a need for people listening to them. Whereas YouTube videos are not always accessible for everyone in all contexts. Just like YouTube, a podcast requires some really great storytelling skills, being able to educate others, and you do want to find a focused niche, just like the other two. So it's all about focus and filling a gap that's needed. But there are so many amazing podcasts about an incredibly diverse number of topics. Maybe your topic isn't covered yet, and maybe this is something that you can fill and you can do to produce income. With podcasting, it's very similar, and you're making an income mostly through ads, but also through paid sponsorships. Now, with all three of those things, you can also bring in extra revenue by doing things like Patreon, where you have people pay a fee per month and they get exclusive content from you. Or you could be connecting your social media brand with a product that you make at home. So then you're not only able to earn money through ad revenue, affiliate links, and paid sponsorships, but you're also making money through a product that you sell. To me, that's the key to having a homesteading business that's really producing income for your family. You have a really great product that you're creating and you're able to sell. You have a really awesome following of people who love your journey, your homestead, and your life. And you have a way to connect them with the product you're selling to support you, your homestead, and your continued ability to be able to provide them with content and with the product that they love so much. So those are my 15 ways that you can make money on a homestead without selling meat, dairy, or other animal products. Whether or not you do sell or want to sell animal products, these still should be some great strategies for you and may even complement what you're already doing. In conjunction with this video, I wrote a blog post all about it with some examples of people that are already doing this really well. And you can see that in the details below. If you found this video helpful or inspiring to you and made you think of a new way to produce money on your homestead, please like this video and subscribe so you can follow along our journey. As Chris and I explore options for our homestead in terms of producing revenue for our family, we will continue to share with you what's working for us, what's not working, where are we at, and are we producing any money through social media, through making a product, through selling canned goods, or growing a cash crop. We're going to experiment with a lot of different things and see what works and see what we love doing. Because at the end of the day, we're doing this because we love it, and we don't want to end up in a job that we don't love. Thanks guys for watching this video. I wish you the most amazing week, and I will see you next time.